What is going on YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today we are hitting the Regulation F ranked ladder here with this Screamtail Iron Hands team. Honestly, I just sat down and I was trying to think of what would be really solid to put together, and I've really wanted to use Iron Hands for a long time. I haven't. I've been using Urshifu and Annihilate as my main fighting types, but here we are with Assault Vest, Iron Hands. I know. Super groundbreaking, so original, assault vested Iron Hands. But anyways, if it ain't broke, don't fix it on a serious note. We have Drain Punch here for our generic fighting type stab. We have Wild Charge to hit a plethora of water type and flying type Pokemon and do major amounts of damage. We have a little bit of support here with Fake Out to just tie up one of my opponent's Pokemon and making them flinch so that one of my other Pokemon can get into some shenanigans. And then we have Heavy Slam here to deal with Fluttermane. Specifically, Fluttermane, because Fluttermane at the end of the day still concerns Iron Hands a little bit, but if you get rid of Fluttermane, it's going to be a good time. We have Screamtail here with dual screen support with Reflect and Light Screen to have the amount of damage, whether it be a physical or a special attack, depending on which screen we put up. And we have Howl to support Iron Hands, Ogerpon, and Scizor by increasing all of their attack stats one stage. And the nice thing here too is the Howl also increases Screamtail's attack, which it's not groundbreaking, but Screamtail does start to get a little bit of a respectable attack stat once it gets one or two Howls off. And Play Rough, Urshifu Single Strike really does not appreciate a Play Rough coming from Screamtail. So that's what I was thinking here with the Howl. It's funny too, because once we hit a +1 with the Screamtail, we can technically knock out an Urshifu Single Strike with it. And Rapid Strike doesn't appreciate it either. Otherwise though, that's just so that Screamtail isn't completely taunt bait, because we are Booster Energy instead of Mental Herb. So the Booster Energy here is to give us a speed boost, and then this way we are capable of outspeeding a Choice Scarfed Urshifu, and then that way we get our Howl off, we get our screen of choice up, and we go from there. We have Ursaluna Blood Moon here to deal major amounts of damage with a Terra Normal boosted Hyper Voice or Blood Moon, especially since we have the Life Orb there. We also have her Earth Power to hit things that Ursaluna just really wants to get off the field, especially Steel type, since they do resist the normal type Onslaught right there. We have Ogerpon here with the Wellspring Mask to have a water type Ogerpon with its Terra. We have the water type Ivy Cudgel, we have the Horn Leech, we have Spiky Shield. You know, super groundbreaking stuff. I know, it's not like I haven't used this Ogerpon before, but anyways, we also have Follow Me here to help get Farigiraf up and running with the Trick Room if we need it, or if we need a little bit of support with getting Scizor's Tailwind up, we have the Follow Me that way, and then we can just go from there. And plus, Ogerpon really appreciates a Howl boost as well from Screamtail. So Ogerpon Screamtail could be nice if we need to get that dual screen support action going, or the Howl. We can always Follow Me with Ogerpon and then just get the attack boost into Ogerpon from Howl and just heal back HP with the Horn Leech if needed. We have Farigiraf here as a Trick Room setter as well as a damage dealer. We have the Throat Spray on it to increase its special attack. If we go for either Hyper Voice or Psychic Noise, we can pop the Terra Fairy button and then click Dazzling Gleam, especially if we're already set up. So that is a relatively nice thing at the end of the day. And then finally, we have Scizor. Originally, I was thinking of throwing a Fire-type Pokemon on here. I was torn between either Incineroar or Chi-Yu, even Entei, but then I thought, I kind of like the idea of Scizor here because we have Priority Stab Bullet Punch, which benefits from Technician. We can pop the Terra Fire if we're running up against a Fire-type Pokemon, which is going to be relatively nice because then we'll just go from being 4 times weak to it to being resistant. We can always set up a Tailwind, and we also have access to Pounce, which is a great move considering it benefits from Technician, giving it a 50% boost, and it's a guaranteed speed drop into the opponent. So not a lot of things like having their speed dropped outside of Trick Room, so Scizor can provide a little bit of support there. Anyways, that's the main team in a nutshell. Let's jump on into some battles. All right, Mark here doesn't know the power of the Scream Squad, or specifically the power of Cave Puff here, if that is an Urshifu Single Strike, because that thing does not love a Play Rough off here. So what do we want to do? The Raging Bolt's a little bit of a problem here because, you know, Thunderclap shenanigans, but at the same time, we have Farigiraf with its Armor Tail to shut that down. Ursaluna straight up immune to it. So, Cave Puff and Ursaluna might not be bad, because we can always go for a Light Screen and then let Ursaluna just do what it needs to do. We could also go Farigiraf, and then that way Farigiraf can set Trick Room. I really like Screamtail here. Ursaluna can be really good as well, so maybe we'll lead that, and if we're worried about a Fake Out coming into Screamtail so that we can't get our Light Screen up, we can always go for the Switch In. And we'll bring Hands in the back. I think Hands is going to be really strong here as well, especially if we can start getting some Howl boosts into it with Screamtail. So, yeah. I don't know why that was such a hard thing to get out of me, but here we go. Also, my opponent's a Scizor fan because of that trainer card. Nice. So, we are seeing Urshifu and Incineroar, and it's a Single Strike Urshifu, so that's real nice. They really do not like the Screamtail here. Yeah, that's going to be nice. We get our booster energy off. So, what we could do is, I think we set a Reflect here to bail out Ursaluna a little bit. We bring in Farigiraf. We switch to Trick Room, and then from there we let Ursaluna and Farigiraf do what they need to do. So Farigiraf's going to come in. We can go for the Light Screen next turn. We don't have to worry about the Fake Out because of Armor Tail. We're going to get a Reflect. The nice thing here too is Screamtail is bulky enough to live. Ooh, nice. Okay, so what I was going to say was Screamtail is nice and bulky. It can live a Wicked Blow, no problem. It eats close combat for days. And because Urshifu did just lower its own defenses like that, we can go for the Play Rough into it. And I still like the idea of getting that Trick Room up for the Ursaluna. So Screamtail just took almost 90% of... Okay, we're not going to get a Trick Room, but Screamtail did just do that to Urshifu, so my opponent does have to respect the Screamtail with the speed now, so... And you know what? I'm fine with the Parting Shot. I really am. Parting Shot's going to do nothing to Screamtail, because Screamtail's not meant to do damage. Screamtail here is just meant to deal with things that I don't want to handle. So, Ogerpon's coming in. Hands might be really nice here for the Howl setup, especially since Incineroar can switch back in. So, maybe what we'll do is we'll go for the Fake Out into the Urshifu. We'll go for the Howl, and then that way we don't have to worry too much about what Urshifu wants to do. We're going to ignore the Ogerpon. No spikes for me this turn, so... Okay. I'm fine with that. We're gonna get a Reflect, or not a Reflect, a Light Screen off. Or no, we're gonna get a Howl, which is even better. So now Iron Hands gets even more damage output. And honestly, that's all we have to do now is we just start howling up next to the hands. Once the Reflect wears off, we go for another one. We have a good time, and I think the Incineroar switches into the Urshifu slot, and if it doesn't, well, Urshifu goes down. This is gonna be nice. Yeah. It was nice of my opponent to just reveal the fact that they have both the Protect and the Spiky Shield, because that just tells me now we know it's no longer a choice item on the Urshifu. And it doesn't matter how low Screamtail's attack gets. We just need to nail that Urshifu one more time with a Play Rough, and that's it. Game over. And they just let me get the +2 with the Iron Hands. This is going to do major damage to the Ogerpon. So I like where we're going to be at the end of the turn with this, since the Reflect is definitely cutting back the close combat damage. So we're going to get back all that HP that we just lost. Yeah. My opponent's going to want a Special Attacker or Incineroar to come in here to deal with Iron Hands at this point. And we're just going to try to... I think we're just going to try to go for the Drain Punch again. I could pop the Terra Grass, and then that way I resist Ogerpon's attacks in case it does crit me, but I'd rather not. Not yet, at least. I really have no problem with that follow me either, so... We'll go for our Howl one more time. We'll get to +3. We're going to get as much Howls as we can here. So, Iron Hands is slow and steady, but that's all that matters at the end of the day. And we're going to just get rid of the Ogerpon. That's good damage. And maybe if it's Incineroar coming in, what we can do is we can go for the Terra Fairy on the Screamtail if they want to try to get rid of it. Go for another Reflect. I think what they do here is I think they fake out the Iron Hands and try to double it up with the close combat. So we go Reflect, and I think we Drain Punch into the Incineroar slot. If they fake out Screamtail, great. Be my guest. But they're going to fake out Iron Hands. We're going to take some good damage here. I'm assuming the Sucker Punch was meant for my Screamtail, but we're not dealing with that right now. We're just setting the Reflect back up. I don't feel like taking another Wicked Blow. So, let's get that Drain Punch off into the Incineroar. Let's do some major damage. If they Parting Shot me, they Parting Shot me. Whatever comes in for it, they're not going to appreciate a +3 Drain Punch. Or I guess it'd be a +2 if they Parting Shot the Iron Hands. Because I'm already at +2 from the Intimidate drop. But anyways, let's go. Oh, here comes the Terra. Alright. Are you Terra Ghost? No, Terra Grass. Terra Ghost Incineroar would have been a little bit of a problem with the Drain Punch, but that's fine. We're going to go for a Howl. We're going to try to maintain this. We'll get the attack boost up into Iron Hands, and we just go from there. I'll take another Wicked Blow off Screamtail. That's fine. We live it. I don't like losing my Assault Vest, but we got 2 physical attackers right in front of me, so it's not the end of the world. We almost knock out the Incineroar, so Iron Hands is going to get back most of its HP. And on the off chance that my opponent does have a special attacker in the back, I do think I'm going to set the light screen just to be on the safe side. Because they could have the... Oh, you know what? The other half of their team is special, so we're going to go for a light screen right now. And we're going to try to get that Urshifu off the field. So, we'll set up our light screen, and if we get rid of Urshifu, that's great. Ursaluna can handle the Incineroar no problem. Iron Hand should be able to deal with Raging Bolt. We'll take this for days. Yeah, thanks to the Reflect. Screamtail did phenomenal work right there. There's no denying that. Screamtail, it wore down most of the Urshifu. It set up Reflect not once, but twice. It's been on the field that long. And we got how many Howls? I think at least 4? That's pretty impressive. Yeah. So Ursaluna gets to come back in, and it's the Raging Bolt. I like keeping my ground typing so that we don't have to worry about the Thunderclap, and we're going to Hyper Voice, and we're going to go for a Drain Punch into the Bolt. And my opponent forfeits. So that was pretty good right there for cleaning up. I'm pretty happy with how that played out. Let's look for another match. Alright, my opponent here has Regieleki, Pelipper, Urshifu, Goldengo, Fluttermane, and Farigiraf. So, Bullet Punch off Scizor is not going to be really that great here, but Screamtail looks really nice here, so we could deal with that. I do have to be weary of the Steel typing from the Make It Rain, but Screamtail in hands could be really nice. We can go for the Howl or one of our screens if we want to. We can do that. A Fake Out into the Regieleki would be really nice, especially if it's not Covert Cloak. I think we bring Ursaluna, and I think Farigiraf looks really nice here for the end, because we can go for a late game Trick Room if we need it. We bring in the Ursaluna, and then Ursaluna just goes from there. So, I think that should be relatively okay, but we'll find out. I've been wrong in the past before. I wouldn't be opposed to being wrong in the future, or I guess I should say my track record wouldn't be opposed to me being wrong. I kind of want to be opposed to being wrong. But anyways, let's see what happens here. So we've got Regieleki and Fluttermane. Alright, so Hands is a little bit concerned about the Fluttermane, but we should be okay here. We get our booster energy. I'm assuming that means their focus sash. So I think we pop the Terra Grass. We fake out the Aleki and we go for a Light Screen. We're gonna pop the Terra immediately here, and so is my opponent. Maybe it's Terra Ghost. If it's Terra Ghost, that could be a problem. It is the Regieleki, so nope, it's Terra Normal. Awesome. All right, so Terra Normal. Does this be... Ooh. Is this Explosion? Are we about to see a Regieleki go boom? Or at least attempt to go boom? That could be spooky. That could be very spooky. Yeah. I might be losing my hands next turn. So, if that's Covert Cloak too, it's still going boom. So, it's not. Alright, great. So, they just gave me Trick Room. Nice. Okay. We're going to Drain Punch you, and we're going to play Rift the Fluttermane. We're going to go for the damage here. I don't know why they... Maybe they were expecting Regieleki to go out so they could get a free switch into their Farigiraf, and then that way they have Trick Room. Or maybe what they thought was maybe they thought I had Trick Room on Screamtail and they wanted to undo it. That could be a possibility. It's kind of hard to say, but I'm not going to deny that I like this Trick Room. And if that's a Focus Sashed Fluttermane, the sash is now broken. So we can go for a Heavy Slam into the Fluttermane. Pelipper is going to come in here. Iron Hands isn't going to appreciate a Hurricane, but Iron Hands can live a Hurricane. So we can Heavy Slam, and I think what we can do here is... I don't want to Reflect necessarily, because that Urshifu could be Rapid Strike, and it would just ignore the Reflect with the, what do you call it, the Surging Strikes. So, let's see. Pelipper's slower than my Iron Hands. That's really good to know. So long as we're not confused, we're fine. We're going to get rid of the Fluttermane. We're going to get a little bit of chip into the Pelipper, because the other thing, too, is Pelipper is notorious for also holding a Focus Sash. So, with the pause there, I did genuinely think we were going to miss, but we didn't, which is nice. So... Urshifu, it is Urshifu Rapid Strike. So what I would like to do is I would really appreciate getting some HP back from hitting the Urshifu here. And if I don't and Pelipper knocks me out, I would love a little bit of chip damage. Great. Okay. That's on me. Yeah, alright. Iron Hands goes down, but Ursaluna can come in here, which is going to be really nice. And I can always go Terra Normal, Hyper Voice, and then that way, that will be enough. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't think we need the Ursaluna right now. I think what we can do here is we can bring in the Farigiraf, and we can go for the Hyper Voice right into the Urshifu and the Pelipper. The only thing is I am a little bit weary of Farigiraf's Speed Step, because this is not a this is not the slowest Farigiraf out there. So we'll set a Reflect here just in case. Interesting that the Urshifu was actually faster than my Farigiraf here. That's a little bit concerning, the amount of damage we're taking, because that Pelipper is probably going to nail me with a Hurricane, so... Oh, it's Screamtail. Okay. Great. Screamtail gets confused. Not the greatest, but what we can do here is we can go for that Hyper Voice and get a little bit of chip damage off. The fact that Urshifu moved before Farigiraf is really nice because that means in theory Farigiraf should go before both of these things. That said, an Aqua Jet enemy could be bad too, so we do have to be weary of that. Trick Room is done. We're going to try the Dazzling Gleam, and we're going to try the Play Rough into the Urshifu, and we'll go from there. I still have Ursaluna in the back, and Ursaluna is still incredibly healthy, so we might be alright, give or take. So let's see how that works out. Screamtail is going to potentially hit itself, which is not ideal. Well, no, we connect the Play Rough, so if Farigiraf moves, there we go. Alright. Pelipper hangs in there, but Urshifu, which is definitely the biggest threat on my opponent's side of the field, is gone. Because now we can always go in with the Ursaluna and clean up against Pelipper. We'll pop the Terra Normal so we're not weak to a water type attack. And then that way that covers for a potential water type attack. And if Screamtail doesn't miss, that's great. We can just... Oh, no, we... what am I saying? I popped the Terra Grass on Iron Hands. Whoops. But anyways, that's alright. I made that face that face thing from the Typhlosion video I can insert right there. But anyways, Screamtail's gonna clean up. That works out to be game, so that worked out nice. Ursaluna just got to show up and just make its presence known for that second one here. The first one, Ursaluna actually did something. Did it? I'm blanking on that. But anyways, good game to my opponent. All right, my opponent here has Greninja, Archaludon, Metagross, Rhyperior, Chandelure, and Galvantula. This is an interesting looking team here. I wonder if it's Power Herb on the Archaludon because I don't see a main Rain Dance setter. But at the same time, that could be what my opponent wants me to think. They might not even have the Electro Shot because that Rhyperior could be Lightning Rod, so that could be a little bit of a problem. So maybe it's going to be for the best if we bring Cave Puff and Hands right out of the get-go. We can bring Ursaluna potentially. I really like the idea of bringing Ogerpon. Ogerpon could be... Ooh, you know what? Ogerpon might be nice to lead next to the Screamtail. We can bring Hands in the back if we need it. And then that way, if my opponent thinks they're safe and they don't have to worry about the fake out right out of the gate, well, Hands is in the back. We could go for Ursaluna as well. Ursaluna could be really nice for dealing with my opponent's Galvantula and Chandelure with the ground type stab. And plus the Rhyperior would not appreciate much from that either. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to bring Ogerpon. We're going to lead off with the Howl Tech. Next to it with Screamtail, we can go for a screen of our choice. They do have the potential Electro Web off of the Galvantula, so Ogerpon will have to be careful there. Luckily, Iron Hands doesn't care about speed drops, so we could always do that. So we'll see how this works out. So it is Greninja and Archaludon, the double shiny, and both of those are phenomenal shinies. I actually shiny hunted both of them. You guys didn't see my shiny Archaludon back when I did the Barraskewda video because my shiny Archaludon is stalwart. But anyways, that's beside the point. So, a light screen would be really nice here, and I wonder if they're going to go for an either Protean or a Terastallization right out of the gate with Greninja. So maybe what we'll do here is we'll go for the Cudgel into it. They're going to go Water Shuriken. All right, so how much damage is this going to do? Oh, I see exactly what they're going to do. They're going to probably be loaded dice. They're going to get the +4. And then they're going to body press something. That's exactly what this is going to be. So, that's interesting. And if they're loaded dice, they can potentially land all 5. So, yeah, they just got the +4 right there. Light screen is definitely not doing me any favors. But at least we can get some damage off into the Greninja. Interestingly enough, though, they did go for the Flash Cannon, so they're leftover. So Ursaluna is going to be very, very needed for dealing with that. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the Howl into Ogerpon, and we're going to Horn Leech the Greninja. Yeah, now that Archaludon's got its setup off from the Water Shuriken, I don't think we're going to see another one. So yeah, there's the U-turn into my Screamtail. Whoever's coming in here is going to take a +1 Horn Leech, though, which is nice for Ogerpon. So, who is it going to be? Yeah, that's... Oh, it's Galvantula. Okay. Nice shiny Galvantula. I dig that. I also dig the fact that we did just half of its HP right there, so... The Flash Cannon's not enough to pick up Screamtail, which is wonderful. Yeah, okay. I wonder if a +1 Screamtail can knock out the Galvantula. I'm going to Spiky Shield with Ogerpon just to try to get around a potential Electro Web into my Ogerpon that way. And go from there. So, Galvantula is going to be faster. Can Screamtail dodge this? Otherwise, it's going down. It does not. Oh, I was wrong. Screamtail does not go down to that. And we do miss the play rough. Okay. So, that's nice that we get to see Archaludon take a little bit of Spiky Shield damage. So, what? Yeah, alright. So, I think Ursaluna is going to have to come in here and go for a Earth Power into that Archaludon sooner rather than later. I don't know if Ogerpon can live a Body Press, though. This might be both Iron Hands and Ursaluna coming in at the same time, unfortunately. But we'll see how that works out. So, we're going to get rid of Galvantula in the bare minimum, so that is very nice. A Greninja coming in could be a little bit problematic for Ursaluna. Ogerpon held on. Alright. So, this changes things, because now what I'm thinking is Ursaluna comes in, goes for that Earth Power into the Archaludon, and Ogerpon goes for a Follow Me. Yeah, because I would much rather appreciate the potential Body Press going into Ogerpon. Yeah, I think that's what we got to do here. If they might have just went straight for the Ogerpon, though, with Greninja. Nice. They went Water Shuriken, so Ogerpon's actually going to get some HP back. So the Body Press goes into Ogerpon. We don't have to worry about Archaludon hitting Ursaluna this turn. We knock that out. That's great. Its setup is gone. Ursaluna can go for the Terra, and then that way we can go for a nice Hyper Voice. That should be huge. So, it's not over yet. I was worried this Archaludon was just going to absolutely decimate me, but it didn't. So, Chandelure comes in. I can still hit this thing with a Hyper Voice because of Mind's Eye, so I do like being able to do that. We're going to go for the Terra here, and we're going to... You know what? We're going to Blood Moon it. We're going to Blood Moon, and we're going to fake out the Greninja. There's something that's just telling me I gotta hit that thing with a Blood Moon. I don't know if it's because I'm worried about it just being able to do way too much damage to Ursaluna if Ursaluna doesn't knock it out. So I'm thinking the Greninja is loaded dice, so Galvantula is likely the Sash Holder. There's the Energy Ball, so that is big damage right there, and I definitely do not like that special defense drop. So let's get the Blood Moon off. And that's gone. Perfect. So, Galvantula and Greninja versus Ursaluna and Iron Hands. Nope, I'm wrong. I forgot I took out Galvantula. I thought Galvantula switched. We go for the Hyper Voice, and we go for the Drain. You know what? We haven't seen the Wild Charge. Let's go for the Wild Charge. Yeah. Okay, my opponent's going to switch out, or not switch, sorry, Terrastalize. I'm a little all over the place here, but anyways. We're going to see the Terra Water, so the Water Shuriken is going to hurt, but it should be okay here. We know it's going to... Ooh! Oh! Was not expecting the Liquidation. Okay. I'm curious about the Greninja set, but anyways. Iron Hands picks up the KO here. And that's why it's called Turbo Hands. I actually EV'd it to its speed Ursaluna. But anyways, we get rid of Greninja there. Ursaluna held on, so that worked out relatively nice. Good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Screamtail and Iron Hands team in action. We played 3 solid games, and Screamtail went out of its way to just absolutely troll and annoy all 3 opponents. We got Light Screen up, we got Reflect up, we got Reflect up twice in one game, and we got at least 4 Howls off in game 1 alone. We were able to lead Screamtail and Ursaluna in game 1. We led Screamtail and Iron Hands in game 2, and then we led Screamtail and Ogerpon in game 3, and it worked out great. Now, the first game we did have to switch Ursaluna out, but the nice thing here too was in game 1, Iron Hands just got set up so much by the Howl and the screen support that my opponent just absolutely couldn't do anything to the Iron Hands, and they realized too late that they needed to get rid of Screamtail, and at that point Screamtail had already jumped all over and mauled their Urshifu and just almost knocked it out despite being at -1 attack, which was incredible. And then in game 2, my opponent actually gave me the Trick Room that I needed that was denied in game 1. So we got that Trick Room up. Iron Hands faked out the Regieleki, which I'm convinced was going to try to explode right in front of us to get a free switch in to bring out something else, like maybe the Pelipper or the Urshifu. And that was actually kind of neat to see too, that the Urshifu was actually able to underspeed my Farigiraf in Trick Room. But at the end of the day, that just meant once the Trick Room went off, we were able to get rid of the Rapid Strike with Screamtail and Farigiraf just whittling it down together. And then Ursaluna came in at the very end to just stand there and look fearsome while Iron Hands finished off my opponent. And then in game 1 too, Ursaluna came in to just apply nice offensive pressure and just make it so that the already weakened Incineroar and the Raging Bolt just did not want to continue on, because my opponent did end up canceling the battle at that point. And then finally in game 3, we led Screamtail with Ogerpon. We were able to get 1 Howl off into Ogerpon, and Ogerpon was able to just start doing some damage there. The nice thing here too was we were able to get around the Archaludon despite it getting set up to +4 defense. Ogerpon was able to live that body press, and then Ursaluna was able to come in with Ogerpon redirecting away that body press. Ursaluna was able to finish off Archaludon, which just led us to a nice path to win by leaving the weakened Greninja and Chandelure for Iron Hands and Ursaluna to finish off. I almost said Urshifu right there, but anyways. Thank you guys once again for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing the spreads for the team, there's going to be a link to the poképaste down in the description below. And if you like the video, be sure to let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'll see you next time.